Good afternoon and welcome to Pinhole Quilting. Our Pinhole Quilting showroom near Pershore in Worcestershire is available to view by appointment, and you can come and test drive our lovely Longarms. We had a nice big delivery last week, and on it was the latest handy quilter machine, part of the Amara family. So that's a 24-inch Amara, very similar in specifications to the original 20-inch Amara. But it's a stretch limo version. So if you're looking for bigger throat space, then the Amara 24 is a great option. The Amara 20 has been one of our most popular machines since it launched. However many years ago that was it 20, how long ago? 2019 the Amara came out, I think, originally. I'm looking at Pete. Yeah, I put him on the spot there. Yeah, we were delighted to get it in, and we're just getting it ready. We'll get it out in the showroom shortly. It goes on a gallery frame. Anyway, I hope you had a good week and had a lovely weekend for Easter and managed to spend it either quilting or doing some hobbies or meeting with family and friends. And we managed to do all of those things, as well as a bit of DIY, which is always good. So we're going to talk about quilting because that's what it's about here, and a long arm quilting in particular. Now, I have a bit of a reputation for not always finishing all my projects within a short time frame, despite having a showroom full of long arms, but it's because we're installing everybody else's. So I have been, as a matter of principle this year, making an effort to finish off my projects. So on the frame right now, and hopefully by the end of this Facebook Live, it will be off the frame. I have been quilting this beautiful quilt. I didn't make it all myself, so I can say it's a beautiful quilt. I absolutely adore the colours, and it's going to fit in beautifully in our snug where we have lavender sofas. So this is ideal, even though it was created originally 11 years ago by Christine Porter from Bristol, one of the lovely Cabot, well, she organises Cabot conferences, which is one of the original bringing over very, very good quilt teachers over from the States, and Chris and I worked together for many years. Anyway, Chris and some friends got together and put together some blocks for Pete and I when we got married, so we know that this is 11 years old. Is it 11 years, Pete? It is 12 years. 12 years. 11? 12? Gosh, I don't know. Quite a long time. I should know, shouldn't I? I'm not very good on dates. Anyway, I'm doing the binding, and I thought it would be really useful to show what I've done design-wise on this, what will be a double-sided quilt, and how I can attach the binding using the long arm with the square foot with Pro Stitcher. So this is kind of a bit of a teaching thing. We've talked about binding on the long arms before and just demoed it, but I thought actually there is no substitute for actually having a quilt. Pete is busy sort of, I don't know, plugging stuff in. Have we definitely live? Can people hear me?
We are definitely live. Should we say hello to a few people?
Good, because I was just yabbering on there and it could have just been like a silent movie.
No, and it's some of our international customers who are
oh, great.
fastest off the mark again. So
very good.
Swarovski,
oh, yep. Hello, Val.
Myri in Australia.
Myri in Australia.
Karen, Pond in Anglesey.
Oh, hello, Karen. I just think it's a bit wet over there. It's very wet here. We're due to have nice weather at the weekend, though.
Then we've got Elizabeth Dunkley.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Carol Watson.
Carol Watson.
Sheena.
I don't know why I did that. Sheila.
Sheena.
Oh, Sheena. Oh, yeah. Hi, Sheena.
Sheena apparently has had a freezer calamity this morning. It says no more.
Oh, no.
We had a microwave calamity last week.
We did. Yeah, we did.
And
it's amazing how much we use the microwave. Surprising. Very surprising. Vera.
Val.
And Val Brooks. Hi, Val.
And we've also got Maggie from Swindon. Hi,
yep.
Maggie.
Hi, Maggie.
Nikki Martin.
Nikki Martin. From Aberdeenshire.
Well done.
And I've just sent you an email. Excellent.
Very good. And Di, and hello, Julia.
Hi, Di, who knows Chris Porter very well. Everybody. So great. And Julia, was it Julia? Okay, I hope you got that problem sorted, Julia, that you were having with the Pro Stitcher Lite getting started. Oh, you did say you had. I think you said you did. Good. Right. Well, let's talk about the binding. I might need you to do a bit of zooming in. I'll just, yeah, because it's actually be useful to do this corner before I bring it down, because it's this bit I need you to focus in. Can you focus in on this corner? So what we're doing is we're using the square foot, but I'm actually using channel locks as well. And I use a feature that's on Pro Stitcher Premium called Move with the stitch option on to do my diagonals on the corners. Never done that before, but I suddenly had an idea as I was going around. I thought, oh, I could use that. So we get a nice mitered corner, and it's 1/4 inch in, and I'm going to show you how to do that when we get to the bottom. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to bring up this thread.
Of course, you don't have to have Pro Stitcher to do this.
No, you could do this using rulers, and that would work really well.
Or the electromagnetic channel lock.
Oh yeah, you could, but you wouldn't be able to do the little corner thing, but you can easily sew a very short 45-degree line, I'm quite sure. However, I thought I would just use that function because I'd never used it before like that. So I'm just coming straight down. I have done I don't know what people call it. I call it a stay stitch on the edges with a long basting stitch. So I know when it'll be just where that line is, but on the other side it enables me to then line up this edge to, I will know where that is on the back. Yeah, well, I know that anyway, but it's just another thing that I do. Right, let's just put the needle down, and then I'm going to move this on.
And hello, Kirsty, in Germany, where it's sunny apparently.
Oh, how nice. Yeah, we've occasionally had a bit of sunshine. We did have a bit of sunshine last night. It was. It's not always when we're able to go outside, though, is it? So with this quilt, I used a few different techniques, including, because I had a little bit of fullness, some spray starch. That was very useful, gotta say. Thanks to Kelly Klein, who first introduced me to the spray starch. I know Linda had been using it for ages. So what you're seeing is this edge of this square foot is just very useful for the alignment. Okay, so if I wanted to, I've got a ruler base on as well, because I find that useful to have an extra base on which I can just make sure that this is staying in alignment. And this is all looking fine, but I can see I'm slightly out because I've just been winding this backwards and forwards. And actually I did float this quilt, which I don't know, I think in retrospect I would have been better to have loaded it onto the front rail. And needle down, and then move on. And so we continue, hoping that our binding's long enough, that we did that calculation correctly. Right. Looks okay. Actually, I meant to say at the beginning, can I just make this? Rebecca, the lovely Rebecca and Claire, friends, you know, in Ireland. So these are Moxie customers. And Claire, Rebecca, sorry, had this really funny video. I was looking at Spinning Wheel Quilts, the Instagram account for Rebecca yesterday, and she said, got a whole pile of binding like this, and she has this video where she just kind of throws it onto the quilt and says, I really wish there was a binding fairy that would just put the binding on. I think that's how most of us feel when we get to the end of a quilt. Definitely check it out. It's really funny. I love Rebecca's humor. It's absolutely brilliant. Let me just get that. So, coming down. Oh, forgot to put the needle down. Oh, and Pete, you remember what happened when I started this? You know, this is the do as I say, not as I do problem, which is that I didn't have my glide foot on when I started quilting this quilt. And boy, oh boy, did I regret it. Because this is wool wadding, and it was fine because I stitched down the sides as I normally do, but the foot actually got caught in the wool wadding when it went off the quilt and back on again. It didn't make a very nice noise. And anybody who's got Pro Stitcher knows what the sound of gears not happy sounds like. Oh, 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 oh. I knew that was going to happen. Right, so let's get that vertical.
Good afternoon, Linda. Linda Jackson.
Hi, Linda.
Seen your recent photos of your spectacular quilt with its minor embellishment.
Just got caught on a bit of... Oh, yes. It is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I think it's an online learning curve, so anybody who has a handy quilting machine can join up to online learning curve and
Yep.
see some of those photos.
You've got to concentrate when you're doing this, and I have a feeling I'm not...
For those who don't know, Linda is a handy quilter ambassador in the UK and a multi-award-winning quilter. I think it's the easiest way to describe you, Linda, really, frankly. Extremely talented.
Absolutely. And if you want to make any comments, Linda, about how I'm doing this, if there's any better ways, do not hesitate. Needle down. There we go. Remember that time. Nearly at the bottom.
So Nell says,
Yeah.
after she's finished quilting,
Yeah.
she can never decide whether the sides are square.
Well, you can tell if you use the vertical channel lock just to check, which is why I went around the whole thing with a long stitch all the way around my quilt, because when I did that, I could check with the vertical channel lock if they were square. So that's why I didn't do it till the end. Because certainly the sides I'm pretty happy with. So when I get to this is a critical bit, Pete. Critical bit here.
Okay.
Right,
I was
okay.
sorting out my microphone because it switched itself off for some reason, so hopefully I'm back online now. Apologies for that.
Yep.
So, right, you're getting to the end here.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stitch slightly back a bit and then forward a bit again and needle down. And then, actually I'll take the needle up now. Right, now if you were doing this with rulers, you could just freehand stitch 45 degree, but on Pro Stitcher we've got the move function, which is pretty neat. I'm just going to change this. There's a jog speed, so I'm going to set that to 15. I'm not going to do it on continuous, so it'll only sew in one of these directions depending on which arrow I press. So if I check, I'm just checking where my point is on my corner and where I am. So it's going to basically sew a diagonal line down there. Look at that. And then I'm going to stitch away. Oh, don't go too close to the edge. That's why I did that. So
Marie Suzanne says that she always binds her quilts on the long arm and hand sew the ends to complete on the long arm.
Oh, I haven't done right.
So much easier, she says.
Yep, I'm going to finger press 45 degree and then I'm just going to move it away from the edge a bit because I am a bit tight, which is why it made that funny noise. So once I've finger pressed that 45 degree, like you do binding normally, I'm going to then come back up to that edge. There we go, binding fairy, take care of it. I didn't do it, it's rubbish.
Sorry everyone, my microphone keeps turning itself off.
So I'm going to get back to that point. And then I'm going to stitch that 45 degree. Right, get back to there.
Right, let's focus on the important stuff here.
Yeah.
I'm out of sound.
And then I go 1/4 of an inch in, and then I take off my motors so that I can now go back to a horizontal channel lock. Oh, vertical, no, want horizontal. And now I can just continue doing the bottom of my quilt. And there we go. There is my 45 mitered corner. Perfect. That is how we do it. Right, I'm just going to tighten this up a bit so that it's nice and flat, and particularly with this on. So, oh, I made loads of binding, look. I did calculate it, but I probably went a bit over the top. I didn't want to look a fool on Facebook by not having long enough binding. Okay, and then we're going to do getting close to where I want to stop. So I've got my nice big overlap. Pete's gone away, so I'm going to have to just do the camera myself. Oh, that was good. Not what you want to do. I was easing it in and pulled it a bit too far. Okay, let's go back to horizontal channel lock. You can unchannel lock it if you pull hard enough, like I was doing. Should have been pushing sideways, not towards me. There we go. Right. I would probably stop there.
Okay, apologies for the camera work. I was trying to sort out my microphone. Hopefully I should be back online again.
Right. So I'm going to finish my binding there. Just pull that up. The rest of it I'm going to do on my machine. To do the way I do the binding, I need to use the sewing machine. I'd love to know how Marie Suzanne does it. All right, let's just chop that binding off. Make sure I've got plenty. There's tons.
So tell us more on Marie Suzanne.
Yeah, or maybe a little. Yeah, the joining bit, because I like to do the joining bit where I measure it by the depth of the. I have to look at a video for this every time, but basically I join it so it's a perfect join. I need to do it off the frame. I've not found a way of doing it on the frame. That is it. This quilt is ready to come off the frame. So this is the exciting point, isn't it? This is the really exciting moment where you go, right, let's see what this quilt looks like and how it feels, and it transforms from being a flimsy bit of piece top to being a complete quilt that we just are going to have just in time for the summer. Picnics.
Hey, there's plenty of summer days in England that require a quilt.
That's true. Particularly when we turn off the heating. There we go. Let's move this up this end. And I was going to show as well how I set up that quilt, but I'm going to get off the frame first. Ready? You got a good angle on this, Pete. There we go. Look! Whee! Fabulous. Look at that. See, it just feels so nice. That's why I put it on. Pete doesn't realise exactly how colour coordinated I am. And I've also got on, did you notice my earrings, Pete? Notice my earrings? My earrings are a button, scissors, a spool, and something else. Oh, a spool. I have to look. I can't remember. Right, I need to set that up from the back.
Right, so probably use my microphone. So it's all over to you.
All over to me. Oh, we'll have to get the other microphones out then. That hasn't charged. Okay, so Pete is going to tell me, what have I got? What am I hearing? Okay. Button. Scissors.
Thimble.
Thimble.
There's a bobbin.
There you go. I got it from Houston many years ago, and I love them.
Lovely spring colours.
Yeah, they are lovely, aren't they? They're very crisp. So that's the front. Okay, it's a trillium design. So I did edge to edge. I want it all over because the back is a pieced back. So people who pieced it had bits left over. So they did, oops, I'm covering my microphone. So they did, they had extras bits, sent them to me, or included them with the pack. And so I made this as a piece back. I think that's going to be lovely when it's finished. There we go. So how did I do this trillium design on the Amara with Pro Stitcher? Those people who got Pro Stitcher, or if you're thinking about getting Pro Stitcher, those people who are new perhaps to Pro Stitcher, this is the design, the trillium. I really like it because I was able to use it as it is here as quite a big design. It comes, I resized it so I could stitch. It was a bit, actually it got a bit difficult. Height was 15.81. I probably should have made that, I'm just going to modify. Should have probably made that on the height, probably nearer to 15. So, because as the quilt got really bulky towards the end, it was a bit tight. I just about made it. So once I've got my design, sometimes you want to resize the design before you put it into your repeat. So we get an area, set up a 2-corner. So this is based on the width of the quilt. You'd be looking at the quilt going off into the wadding, do 2-corner, and then put in the height. So this one was 80, I think I made it 85. So there's our area. Here's my trillium. We go to the repeat tab and basically get it to fill. I would add another vertical, like so, and then reduce the gap between the rows, like that, until it's just a nice overall design. What you'll see is there's a gap at the top and the bottom. So what I need to do is add in another horizontal and another vertical, and then trim away what I don't need. Go to modify, crop, outside, close off all the edges, and there we go. That's it. Took ages. It's really, really quick. So there we go, that's trillium. Fantastic. Any questions? No? Should we move on?
Yes, so
Pete's multitasking here without a microphone.
so
Georgie. Oh, it's so satisfying when you take the quilt off the frame. Totally. Jenny, this is the most beautiful quilt back ever. Yeah, I was really pleased I had enough. And also, it's kind of nice because this fabric, this purpley fabric that I used in here, is also in my friend Ali's wedding quilt. So we both got the same fabric in our wedding quilts. I've got quite a lot of loose ends there I must get rid of. All right.
it happens to be our corporate colours too.
Oh, it does happen to be our corporate colours too. That's just a complete coincidence, of course. But I do love those colours. Pete, what we're going to do next is we're going to go over to the Capri, and I'm going to show you something I did also this week, but on a sit down. I did it on the Capri, which I'm absolutely in love with. The stitch regulation on it is absolutely fantastic, and I'll just show you another quilt block, or set of blocks, which I did yonks ago, which is a bow tie, and we're going to go over there.
Question, Liz.
Yeah.
The trillium design is a standard hand quilt?
It is. It is. Yeah, where is it?
It is. We haven't purchased any additional.
No. Design, open. In 1PS design. Oh, I wonder who's that. I should have made a note whose it was. It'll be in one of the first 4 or so. I went through trillium. No, okay, it must be. I'll find it. Darlene Epp. There we go. Trillium leaf all over, revised. Perfect. Right, I'm going to take the quilt with me because I need to do all the edges on it. Just leave it there. Beautiful. Now, this is the Capri. It's an 18-inch sit-down or a stationary sewing machine from Handy Quilter, and it has stitch regulation built in to the insight table, which is this table here, very smooth. And this insight table has got height adjustment so that you can get it exactly where you want, including standing up, which one of our Capri customers, quilt artist Tina down in London, has got it so that she's standing up. She finds it easier to do all of her stitching standing up.
Can you turn the lights?
Oh, they turn the lights down. It's very bright. It's lovely. Now I can't see anything. So I'm just going to pick up the thread and bring it up to the top. I'm just using up some old bobbin thread. I don't know what it is, but I'm using glide on the top. And what I'm going to do is do some basting to begin with so that I can just secure this. Now, what's the point of this? The point is I'm using up some old samples. We get lots of these, obviously, because we're always making lots of sample fabric from shows. So I've cut off a piece that's 20 inches by the width of the fabric, and I've just put my own fabric over the top of it because I'm going to make a cushion that's like this, but there's just quilting. So this is the back, which you might be able to see. Okay. And then this is the front. And I haven't finished off the cushion yet, and I want to stuff it better. It's just a cushion I had hanging around just to show you. But this is basically bow tie quilted on an Amara with Pro Stitcher using a Harriet Carpanini design, which I thought was really cool because you can't see it very easily because it's a very busy fabric. This is all K-facet fabric, just using lights and darks to create bow tie. In fact, I reversed one of the Brandon Mabley fabrics just to get a nice light because there weren't that many lights in the pack. So that's going in the snug as well. Oh, I did the same thing. I just did all over quilting with that one. So this is all done on the suite. And this one is done on the Capri. What I'll do first of all is just do some rough basting just to hold this in place so that the fabric doesn't shift. And because it's got already 3 layers with the wadding, it's great because I'm just using up scraps, you know, it's good. Let's pull that up. If someone's using a sit down, by the way, a nice quick method for picking up the bottom thread, you do needle down, needle up, and then take the thread either side of the needle like this and just sweep it underneath. Oh, made a hash of that. Sweep it underneath, just like this, and then that pulls the thread up from underneath. I'm sure that didn't look quite as effortless as it was supposed to. Right, you can do a basting stitch. So the 2 types of basting on the Capri, one is in inches and one is in time. So in manual mode, it's in time, and in regulated mode, it's in inches. I'm just going to do some 1/2 inch basting stitches. Oh, I'll loosen off the tension. So it was on 365. There we go. Needle down, just pivot that round. I'm just going to secure the edges because, oh, I hope that's not too loose. Oh, it's a bit too loose. Okay. There's basting stitches and there's stitches that don't really form. I don't think I had quite enough tension there. I'll show you in a second. That didn't really work. Now, once I've done this, I'm going to start on this one side. down. And if you were using this on the insight table, because it's important to have these magic eyes covered all the time, you might want to make it bigger than you need, just so you've got plenty of fabric extra so that you're always covering the magic eyes. Right, one more. Okay, final side. I think I'll go back towards myself. Okay, that's good. Will that trick? What's the trick? Oh, the needle threading. Yes. No, pulling up the needle. Pulling up the thread from the underside. Yes. No, it does work. Is it easier? I'd say it's easier to do it. I'll tell you why it's easier now and why I do it on the sit down rather than the stand up. On the stand up, it's really easy just to move the machine to the side to pick up the thread. But if you want to stay exactly where your needle is, you could do it on the stand up. Absolutely. And then you're not moving the machine at all. Right. Let's get this nice and flat-ish. I mean, I'm doing it a bit quick because it's just need to get it held, so I'm not fighting it and ending up with loads and loads of bumps. Right, so now I'm ready to start. I'm going to do 11 stitches per inch in regulated mode. Regulated mode is just like cruise or continuous mode on your stand-ups. Always when you're on a sit down, you want to get the bulk of the weight off from the sides. This doesn't have a side table, so we're just working on a meter square. I wouldn't quilt this the other way around. I don't want stuff dragging down the front, and I'm using the Handy Quilter paddles to do my design, which are these things, which are slightly bigger than the sweet spots, and I find that when I'm doing bigger, more expansive designs, they are easier. So, get my tension right. I think it was a fraction tight. Yes. Right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I will just basically start quilting. And try not to have either my mouth open or my head moving in time to whatever I'm quilting. You can go slower. You can go faster. Nice and relaxed. Do a few of those, a few of these, some swirls. And I'm just doing improv here. Literally just improv. Just having fun and playing with whatever stitches I fancy doing and just building it up. And that's the nice thing about the sweep and the capri, is that you can just rock up to it and do whatever you feel like. Get a nice thread build up if you like I've just done on that section. There we go. Just check the back. I just need to tighten that top tension a little. But the nice thing is it's on a cushion, so no, who's going to see it? Who would take apart your cushion and have a look? No friend of mine. Okay. How's that? That's my improv. And I was thinking, actually, when I was talking to Pete about where this is going to go, I could just applique some nice little applique motifs using something like the Sizzix dies to create circles or little flowers and then go around them. So watch this space, because this is not finished yet. I can easily steamer seam them on and then stitch them on using the applique method we learnt from Talen Jeffrey, Handy Quilter Ambassador from South Africa, that taught us how to use the long arms to do applique. And I have my notes written in my notebook on how we did all of that. So that was very cool. I found them the other day. Different methods for doing applique: raw edge, scribble, manual method, stitch with a zigzag, and a blanket. And this is the benefit of coming on these classes, that you learn how to do all this stuff. So I will do that on another session. Pete, we're going to move on. Do you want to move on to, you're going to talk a little bit. No, he's not, because he hasn't. I'm going to pass you my mic. Oh, I'm going to do it apparently. No, you can do it. I can pass you my mic. He doesn't want to do it. All right. Let's talk about the current pre-loved machines. We had gone down to, I think, a couple of machines last week, after last week's Facebook session. And so now, this week, we've got some more that are coming up, either because people, unfortunately, for various reasons, are no longer quilting. And we've got some beautiful ones, really, really beautiful. So go on our prelovedlongarms.co.uk website. You can see all the details there. And if you're interested in any, email us ASAP, because some of these are hot. Simply with studio frame in Western Supermare. And there's also one simply with studio frame in Oxford. Okay. Amara, an Amara 20 with a 12-foot studio frame. It's a beautiful machine. Amara's come up so infrequently. The first one we've ever done from a customer, isn't it? Yeah. Indeed, we've sometimes sold off our ex-demo ones, but this is the first from a customer who's based in Cooper in 5, and there are a ton of accessories with it. So it would be wonderful if we could find a buyer for that and have a nice home for it after it had been lovingly looked after and used by lovely Liz and Brian. And can I mention? No, I won't do that. And the other sit-down machines are Sweet 16. We've got it in the showroom. And that is a beautiful Sweet 16. And there's also one, it's in Droitwich, is it? I thought it was in Wolverhampton. Okay. Okay. Pete. Oh, he's going that sort of area. It's nowhere near Wolverhampton. It's in the Midlands. It's in the Midlands. Coming very soon at a showroom near here. I can actually see it. It's behind my quilt. Oh, it's a big reveal. You're going to turn the camera around at the end. Ah, all right. I'll talk while you can film it, if you like. Want to do that? The Avanti with a 10-foot studio frame is now, as of today, in our showroom. This beautiful, beautiful machine with a 10-foot studio frame is available, pre-loved. And that will be on our website very soon. It'll be on there, Pete says, today. Promises. Next, we're sad about this one, that unfortunately a customer in London is having to sell his Moxie with an 8-foot loft frame, and it's also got Pro Stitcher Light. So that's down in London. So, you know, these things are coming up, but don't forget, there's lots of new machines here as well. Do not forget that. And we've got good warranty on these machines as a result of Handy Quilter having a 5-year warranty on its new machines. One of the reasons why, if you buy a Handy Quilter and you buy into that brand, our lovely Handy Quilter brand, you're getting a machine that retains a lot of its original value. And whilst a number of these customers who are selling for various reasons, at least they're able to get a decent amount back from their original purchase, even if they're not upgrading. And there aren't, as far as we know, any other manufacturers that do it quite like we do it. And one of the reasons is that these machines just keep going on and on and on. Last thing I want to mention is that the Moxie box, as an example of a box price. Oh, let me explain this a bit better. You know when you get your new machine, and there's a massive box that the machine comes in, and maybe you, or potentially your other half, if that applies, says, we don't want to keep that box. We don't want to keep that box because it's taking up way too much space and we don't have any space. You've got to get rid of it. You get rid of it, and then when it needs to come back for servicing or something or whatever, or you sell the machine and you haven't got the box, the Moxie box, our cost price by the time we've shipped it over from the States is £245. Do not throw the box away. Some of the other boxes are similar prices and are bigger, so therefore you just need to keep the box. Do not throw the box away, okay? We say don't throw the box away. Keep this box. Even has printed on the outside of the box. Keep the box. Good reason. It's extremely expensive to get that custom foam insert, and there is no safer way to send it around the UK. It needs to be protected in transit. That's it. I think we are going to be going to the May Malvern Show, Quilts UK, competitive quilt show. We wish everybody who's getting their quilts ready for that show good luck with your deadlines. And we will have a number of our long arms that we have here in the showroom on display and available to test drive. And we look forward to seeing all our customers at the show. In the meantime, if you want to buy any thread or accessories and stuff, our handyquilter.co.uk website is open for business. You can place orders 24/7. All right. We will look forward to seeing you next week, and when we will be back demonstrating more lovely quilts and quilting and long arm machines from Handy Quilter. So happy quilting. Bye.